Good morning, guys. I like that intro more and more. But yeah, hopefully you guys are all well. Hopefully you guys had a good evening and you enjoyed this drop. I'll get my chart up real quick while we're talking about it. But yeah, not much has changed, guys. We're going to jump right into it. It's going to be a quick one this morning. I probably will try to do a Friday night live stream for altcoins. So we won't be doing any alts today, but we'll do them this evening. I know that Matic and a few other ones, I had some alerts going off just to let me know that we're coming in closer to target, right? So, and that is one thing that when we were talking about the Bitcoin price dropping here recently, that was kind of one of the reasons why all the altcoin targets that I have not been hit yet. So for me, I'm pretty neutral, obviously, during this range. We were looking for the monthly open. Let's go down to the crack, the 1 hour, saying that if we lose this monthly open, things are not good for price. You had your regression for the last 2 months of price action coming in here, and you can see what happened as soon as you broke trend, right? And we said that if we come back down to these September lows or the previous week low, that we wouldn't be looking to long that unless the order flow gave a clean setup or that we got a nice swing fail. You got none of those things, so you can't just be blindly putting your orders there. So you guys know that I don't blindly set orders. I don't limit into anything. So it's one of those things where if I do that, it is very rare. Hang on, let me silence that Discord. I swear Sin City's Discord knows when I'm live. They just get super active. So you've come down, you've front ran our level at 21,779. And if we move over to this one, ignore the man behind the curtain here. We've also got a few other things to talk about, right? We have that 60-day target we were just discussing. I was kind of going over something because I'll be covering harmonics for the group in the academy. So I was working on the AB equals CD. We'll call it a module, if you will, but it's going to be like a 10-minute video, just like an introduction to what they are and how to trade them, how to find targets, things like that. But you had this regression, right, from our last 60 days. You've got your 60-day range, which you can see we're hitting the value area low of. And then we had the average of the last 60 days, So 21,659 is that level. And we know that we have an untapped monthly pivot just beneath it from February, right? So we have some targets down here still. So for me, is this likely the low? Probably not, is what I would say. If I had to take a stab at it, I don't think that this is probably going to be the overall low of this move. I think that we still have lower to go potentially. That doesn't mean that we can't look for potential swing trades here. If it presents itself, a nice back test of, old resistance, something like that, you could very well see, a larger move up into some resistance. If I can get my mouse to work here. Sorry, it's kind of a clunky morning. It's very rainy and whatnot. And I was telling Max before the stream that the monthly open to me would still be a very key level. It's also your local gold pocket. So, when you're looking at something like this, it'd also be a back test to your trend. You really got to start seeing that like 23,134 level. You got to live back above that again. Kind of like we were discussing yesterday. As long as you're above this level, you're above the trend, things are good. However, if you guys paid attention to what Max said, all clout goes to him on that one. He was looking for the move up before washing everyone out. He did call it. So he called his shot and got what he was talking about. And we're now moving into these statistical targets, which is the 2M2, which is the second iteration of the 60-day pivot for 2023 and an untapped pivot down here. Now, overall, we do have an overall range as well, right? If we get rid of this, we have this merged range, which we're going to need to go to the 4 hour for right here. You can see we were talking about not finding our way back into this range through the monthly open, which we did. And from there, we'd be looking down potentially to some of these targets. 21.8, give or take, was kind of the level to be looking for. And then you have this 12M1 right here at 20,673. These would be the next levels of interest to me. More so of interest to me is this low and if it's going to be taken. It's also your previous month low. Previous month lows are very important, just like previous week lows or previous day lows. They offer up great invalidations if the opportunity for a swing fail is given, right? So if we take the level, reclaim it, we can start trying to trade it back to the upside to obvious targets. So for me, looking at this, you can see that the 40 tick POC is all the way down there. However, I'll bring over ATAS here. you know, when we merged out just the current yearly range, you can see that we are at the low. Where is the point of control and the TPO point of control for this month, or not this month, this year thus far, is coming in at about $23,000. So that's kind of in line and support with the idea that we have to get back above that monthly open at 23,134, right? So we've got to see that level reclaimed. Now, if we were to merge all the data from the drop, we could do so. We certainly could treat this all as one giant range here. And I believe it's somewhere in this region. I'll just have to zoom in. Oh, no, don't do that to me. We got to zoom in just a little bit. And I know exactly which candle I'm looking for. I know that sounds really ridiculous, but it's all about being precise, right? There's my candle. That's the one I want. And that is where the range ended and a new one began. And now that we've encompassed this range multiple times, you could look at this all as one giant range. And what you'll notice is that the overall point of control now, which differs from what TradingView is showing us here down here at 19,150, is coming in at $23,000, putting more emphasis on that monthly open in that, you know, region of the chart, I guess, for reclaim. Now, does that mean that we won't see 22.7 or 22.8 operate as resistance as it was prior support? It doesn't mean that, but if we're looking for an area that would get us kind of bullish to get back above, it would definitely be right here at the maximum level of volume shown on ATAS at 23,000. That's what you would want to see, right? So otherwise, you're looking to the downside a little bit here. Your value area low and your TPO point of control, so time point of control, is down here at 19,150. That's more in line with what's showing on the volume chart here for the 40 tick on TradingView. Now, you are splitting hairs, in my opinion, because you can see that these are pretty close to each other in terms of nodes. So you have a high volume node here, a point here, kind of one right here, but then another one up here at 23K. So 19,150 certainly still is important. It's where we spent the most amount of time in this range, right? So that's where this comes in at, and there happens to be a lot of volume there as well. But it comes in at the range low in the gold pocket. So I do start to like that region more and more if price cannot start, you know, bouncing off of these levels and holding support for like a more major move, because this certainly isn't a break of trend just yet. You can see that you still have higher lows in place technically. But the moment you start losing those higher lows, you're looking for that lower high, and then you're looking to see if that trend becomes an actual trend and continues. And that's right in line with what we've been talking about on this channel, with saying the timeline is the real narrative here. Was the timeline. We've been talking about coming up as high as 26K since December, and we were working off the idea of the sign line, right? Because I was looking for an overall range here. And we were saying that if we were going to see that move into this region, it was probably going to come towards the end of February, February 27th specifically. So we did miss the high by about a week, but that's okay. You know, this did exactly what it was supposed to do. And if you've been watching the channel, I've also been telling you that if we get a back test of our time and price line, it usually comes off something like this right here, back up, and then down it goes, right? So we've seen that time and time again. So bounce territory is where we're at. Definitely no time to be selling. You guys should have been hedging those bets and setting stop losses long before this. But what I mean by that is right over here, you had this data as soon as you had this point on the chart. And what we're looking for is to take it up to something like this. And then you see your like formal rejection into like this zone right here. So that's how you'd be playing it into the line, reversal, support and resistance operating, because you're looking at, it's essentially based on expansion rate, and you do that based on session. So we've chosen a specific set time data, and we've said, how long does it take for this price to oscillate its range? And then you overlay that onto the new data, and that's what's given us this timeline, right? So very, very simple. Yeah, not much to add there, guys. We have our targets, 21,659. 21,199 is the next level after that, you know. But if you're looking at the overall range and a little bit larger picture, it's showing us that unless we start seeing some levels recovered here, we probably will fill that gap. But it is likely to come back down into this region between 19.3 and 18.7. You know, that's not out of the question. And that brings you right back into this gold pocket and brings you right back into that merged value area low we were just discussing, along with the 40 tick point of control from TradingView. So hopefully that is helpful. It's just a real broad overview. I'm not going to get too much into anything else, as I know Max is going to want to collect a little bit of clout this morning from yesterday and go over the order flow, as I know that was quite the move.
Never, I'm not a clout collector. I got my 30 minutes of fame done, but I just want to say something, Magic. Where is your American manners today? Bigging them up yesterday and forgot to ask me.
I was going to ask if you had anything to say, and then I just decided it wasn't worth it.
So rude. This is American manners at its peak.
Well, you know, yeah, we're consistently inconsistent. Let's just say that.
Okay, well, let's get
please
into
don't put any candles in the chat. I can't do that today. No candles, please.
Okay, so I'm going to turn Magic off, turn his chart off, and it's just me. So yeah, right now what we're looking at is a really boring day. Other than this morning, the big move that occurred, it's been really dull. The volume's been there, but it's just really not done anything. The level that I've got is this naked point of control, which is just a touch below, so at 21749. So it's just a bit of a front run for Magic's level. Certainly watch it, because that could offer us a swing fairly pan on the current low that we've got. And I'll be looking for that if we lose this section of the chart. So this here, we've got a really big buying tail on the TPO chart. So buying tail shows that there's been strong buying pressure there effectively. So it's an area that you really do want to hold. These do time and time again get defended. It pretty much was in this candle here. Well, this candle was what made the buying tail. So, the kind of buying tail was made there, then it was confirmed here. So, this is the level that you do really want to hold. And it lines up very nicely with the current golden pocket. So potentially get a bounce there, but if lost, I'll be looking for it to come down, test that naked point of control area. And it's also a TPO point of control as well. So you've got like 2 layers there. I won't really use them as confluence, because it's the same day. So it's not like you've got 2 huge levels. It's effectively one, but all in the same region of the charts, which could offer as an SFP trade. And that's how you trade it. You get the bounce. If you want to get in early, you can. But the confirmation for that really would be the reclaim of this, because you could very easily just reject from it, and it's only $100 off, so it's not too far. So that's the type of thing I'd be looking for. The downside, either a bounce here or an SFP here before maybe getting to the levels which Magic has mentioned. And then above us, obviously you've got a fair way to reclaim to get above the monthly open. I believe it's that up here. Where is it? There. So you've got a fair shift that needs to be put in to get it, but you have got a huge single print the whole way, and you do unify this as one, because this is just where the half an hour candles changed over and kept the move going. So it's not really like putting a lot of time here enough for us to say it's not an inefficiency. No, this is an inefficiency on the chart. There is going to be a lack of volume on this day, but I imagine if you zoomed back, there's not going to be, because of these days that we had over here. So you might not see it on the volume chart, but from TPO point of view, there is a single print here, and we are rejecting from it. We rejected from it effectively. It keeps bouncing up as we come up, test it, reject, come up, test it, reject. So it is the resistance that needs to be broken and really start to make a move back into it. But for right now, we are just swing failing all the highs that have effectively been made. I think I'll go to the 5 minute. This was the high for the majority of the day. With the VWAP, you're right, Magic. So as we look on this chart, it's the VWAP, it's the high, it's a single print. Got so many things here that are the resistance that really need to be claimed. So yeah, Magic just mentioned me in this little group chat thing that we have on this restream. So yeah, if you're looking for us to really break into the single print, it is the VWAP, which is a nice level that draws the line for you effectively. So yeah, reclaim the VWAP, and maybe you can start putting in a shift to come up and previous week lows here. That would be the first resistance. You don't want to reject from that. That'd be really bearish. But get above that, maybe we can start look to the local golden pocket, which would be, I've pulled it as this. I'd be interested to see how the other people have pulled it, but I put it from this high here. And, it puts you kind of in the middle. There's not really too much other confluence here, but I'm aiming at these lows as like the confluence, I'm guessing, but, rejecting from what was once support. So that would be the area that I'm kind of looking at for potential rejection prior to the monthly open, because you could get a lower high there, give us a nice trade to the previous week low, get bounced up to the monthly open, reject maybe, or claim. It doesn't really matter because I'm not doing Elliott waves and trying to predict the future here. It just is what it is. But these are the levels that I'd kind of be looking for something like that. But yeah, the low is, from a volume point of view, very, very, very good. From a open interest and delta point of view, very good. It actually isn't a finished auction on Bybit. I think on Binance it is, but on Bybit it is not, which is, interesting. That would tell you that when it's an unfinished auction, it means that there is still some sellers down there. You've not exhausted the sellers to get as soon as you had a buyback, it doesn't have to jump up the price. You've not exhausted the sellers there, which is interesting. So it leans into the fact that you could be leaning a bit further down with what Magic's mentioned with the downside. But yeah, without the reclaim of the VWAP and start to really work its way to the single print, you are going to come and test some of them targets. And I do like that golden pocket initially. But yeah, if lost, I'll be looking for that swing failure pattern. Okay, to be fair, Max, what are you wearing? A hat and glasses and a t-shirt. I've got boxers on and also shorts, shoes and socks. Yeah, I should definitely do that in a VR headset. It's massive. You mean this? I'm not sure what they're on about. Turned you back on because I have no clue what they're on about.
Better unmute myself. I don't know either. Apparently sleeping with a shirt on is frowned upon. But as I said, I always sleep with a pump cover on. So, is what it is. I did get a question about Matic. The target on Matic for me is 105.45 for whoever asked that. I can't remember. But just so you guys know, we'll cover that tonight, obviously. But 105.45, that is your B leg pivot of the bat. So we'll see if we get that still. As far as what's going on, we've missed a few key levels to me. So I would like to see the low again, but we'll see if we get it. I did take a scalp long last night on the move, but it was one of those things where I closed it, went to bed. I was in bed by the time CVO went live. Kind of wild. I was in bed by like 9:30. So, what do we got here?
I just realized they're taking the mick out of the color.
They're what? They're taking
the mick out of the color because of what I said to you yesterday. This is dark blue.
It just looks like a normal shirt to me, But this is gonna be a quick one, guys. There's not much to talk about. We have our targets. We know why they're targets. We know why they're important. Statistically speaking, we know why they are anyway. So for me, there's going to be some intraday trades. I'd like to see where this bounce leads to. If it will push through that single print in the VWAP, we can look for a back test of some support. Otherwise, this could be like a little mini range for a day or two here before we get any kind of actual move up or down. Excuse me, out of this region. So it's kind of a light stream today. The fun was yesterday. We talked about volatility Thursday, and then at the very end of the day,
hated on it.
Friday. Yeah, and I was like, man, it's just so boring right now. And definitely did not end up being boring. It did show itself. So very, very cool. And we got a conversation about everyone's
what people are wearing to bed.
I'm just gonna let's go through it. David wears black, dark gray, or dark navy blue, but my shirt color is almost identical to Max's today. So you guys are twinning, not to be confused with twin in the chat. I never have boxers on, especially when I'm work from home. Commando for DCF. Am I hugely manly with my robe on everything I woke up in? Calvin Klein sweats, long sleeve t-shirt with short sleeve over it, all black every day, pretty much.
Hugely manly.
Hugely. Am I scalping long or short? I'm not scalping anything right now. I probably won't be looking for too many scalp shorts unless we're back up at that single print and see another rejection. But, we've already tested it a few times. So I definitely won't be shorting support. If we come down to that 21,779 level with backed up by 21,659, backed up by 21, 199, you know, that little region there, that's a bunch of support there. So I will be looking at that as an opportunity to potentially put on a long. If it goes lower than, you know, that, it goes lower than that. But, you know, the key to that is kind of waiting for the reaction before you actually pull the trigger on anything. Because if there isn't a reaction, then there's really no reason to take the trade. So that's why presetting is dangerous, because you get $1,400 candles like we did yesterday in an hour. So anyone that was buying overbought RSI or whatever it may have been, you know, is what it is. But I will say this, you guys should have known it was coming. We've been talking about these levels for the better part of 2 weeks, and Max pretty much hand gifted the move yesterday, play-by-play on it. But yeah, commando mode 24/7. Oh man, we've got an interesting chat. I sleep in the nude.
What I will say, while we've currently got this chart before, if Magic's going to take it over something, you can see here we have got quite a few buyers and price is kind of fading back into them. So it would lead me to believe that we are going to come down and test that golden pocket, which I mentioned earlier, which comes around the current day val. You know, if you see buys like this and they start to get trapped, it's never a good look. And also here, you know, towards the high, you've also had some positions changing hands, you know, to the short side. So yeah, I would be looking at what we've currently got here. I'm leaning that it's certainly going to come down and test them regions. Just trying to steer the conversation away from nudity.
Oh yeah, I forgot you guys are so appropriate over there.
Well, a little bit more than you, but we have manners.
We have manners. I don't know if I'd say that. It's
literally invented them.
I would say that you guys have no manners. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the hospitality and the food that you guys serve people over there, but I don't know how you guys can claim any kind of manners with
the
food like that.
Listen, don't be coming at me with the food. You guys always say we've got bad dental care. That actually, if you look at the statistics, ours are better than yours. So
we're also super, super overweight. There's probably a lot that goes into that. But yeah, here's the daily valley he's talking about. For me, I've got 22,050. It's looking for like the gold pocket, high to low, basically. We'd just be looking for this region of the chart. I actually am curious what the weekly looks like. Nowhere to be found. All the way up here. Yeah, 23,190, which is right at the monthly open. You'll love to see it. And let's roll. Let's roll through all of the time frames here. Current month, we're only 3 days in, so that makes sense. There's the single prints. Yeah. Trade the local range, low key, if that's what you're wanting to know. What I would be doing today, I would go through the modules if you haven't already, learn how you're pulling based on session. Current day is the one that you should be focusing on, and maybe previous day a little bit, and just looking for good intraday trades if you're into day trading. If you're not looking for a day trade, you know, you're looking for a swing trade off of the idea that we're going to hold these supports. If those don't hold, though, you certainly can't just be holding that position thinking that it's going to turn around for you. So that's how I would trade that. I don't think there's anything else to really discuss. We're going to go over alts tonight a little more in depth, because those are going to be looking like they want to come back to targets we've been talking about for a while now. I've been having to be very patient with those. Should bring Max back on because he's not at his computer. He's like walking around playing with his dog. But yeah, otherwise, guys, I'm going to probably pop off here. It's a short one today, 23 minutes, 36 of you in here, and 21 likes. So I like it. Thank you. Thank you. You guys have a great Friday. See you this evening. If you have any questions, just tag me in the Discord or leave me a comment down below. And let us know if you enjoyed the stream or if there was something you wanted to see. And true, you know, proper fashion, Max, is there anything you want to say before we take off here?
Oh, not anymore. We're done now. Shut up your arse, mate.